So welcome everyone to this week Magnet Marketers. I'm one of your hosts, Jessica Phillips from Now Marketing Group in the Relationship Marketing System, and my co-host is Mike Gingrich from Tabsite and Digital Hill, where he lives and breathes by the philosophy of always being uncommon and always adding value. This week, we're diving into the art of email and how to use email to grow your sales. So I'm super excited for this topic and welcome all of you to the room. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, I'm doing well. And again, I think this is just, I think it's kind of a forgotten but so critical component of, the online digital marketing strategy today. I mean, we're all going through email, it's there and it's important.
Absolutely. I mean, whereas, with social media changing and you forget when you're growing, one platform and then maybe you're switching because you notice like your customers are leaving maybe Facebook and maybe gravitating over to Twitter or another, social media application. You're trying to re-earn and rebuild up that audience. Whereas email, once you're building them up and you earn them, you have email forever, unless they're changing their email. But that's something that you can continue to grow and it's your list. You don't have to worry about it. You have it all in one place. So, and it's something that you can monetize. It's been said again, money is in the list. I think April even quoted that in a video that we did recently when we had tips from social media experts. And it's so true. Building and growing your email list is the number one priority that you should all strive to obtain at the end of the day. Social media and other tools are just amplifiers to drive traffic back to your home base to grow your list.
Yeah. No, and I think it's a primary sales tool. I mean, you can't really do a lot of direct sales on social media. Okay. Right. But you can integrate those components together, but you can sell with email marketing, and so there is that potential for it. So that's, I'm already jumping in. I know I'm getting ahead of you, but where do you want to start today, Jessica?
That is a good spot. So I think if we break it down kind of why email, like we were saying, and the best practices and what we've seen as a result with using email and some things to steer clear of, because I think email at the end of the day has kind of a bad name because so many people do it wrong. It's been known as just another spam, another thing getting in your inbox. And I mean, I even have it, we talked about this in previous blabs, there's systems out there literally to filter out crappy email. Like people are selling these tools because there's so many people doing it wrong that I think that it's important to know the tricks, and not tricks, but just the authentic way to do it right to make it work for your business.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. So the art of using email to grow sales. I mean, number one, you got to grow your list too, right? I mean, if you don't have a way to email to, it's just not helping you. And so that's, I'll just do a quick run through of some opinions on that. But I mean,
sure.
I think one of the biggest gap points that businesses have today is a lack of strategy to grow a list. And combined with that is a lack of strategy for that soft lead capture on their website. And, so then related to that is a poor use of social media to help drive them over to your website where you have your soft lead capture so you can grow your list. How about that? So it all works together. It all works together. That's the key. And, so number one, there has to be a cohesive strategy, thought through there. But you need to be growing your list. And the only way to grow your list, there's multiple ways, I guess, but one of the big ways is to have, some type of soft call to action on your website. And that has to be, to get them to opt in, you're going to need to have something that's relevant, some type of offer. If it's B2C, maybe it is a coupon or a discount code. If it's B2B, it's some type of resource. It's a ebook. It's not, giving away your product or something like that, but it's something of value, something that's going to be helpful, a resource, so that they want to opt in. And then that can begin the conversation. That's how you can grow your list. You need to be driving traffic there, and social media can help you drive traffic there. But number one, the art of using emails to grow sales is, what's your strategy for continuing to grow your list?
Exactly. Know your strategy is number one, and asking for the email, but not just asking. Like if you're just having a sign up form on your website that's like, give us your email to sign up for us to tell you about our specials and to sell to you, that's not a good way for people to be really encouraged to add in their email address. It may work for some very small percentage of businesses that are having these deep discounts, and that's why people are signing up. But other than that, you have to be able to add value and to give something of value in order for someone to give you their email address in exchange for it. So if you have, and you can't just lead off with just asking for the email, you have to give something good as like a teaser and to show that people can trust you with their email address, because we don't want another just spammy email in our inbox. So give something as valuable as maybe even just in your social post, add value in your social, drive people back to your website to maybe read a blog that's deeper dived into a subject. And then at the end of that blog, add something of value in exchange for this email. So maybe we're talking about the best times of day to post on social media. Maybe we're sharing a little nugget of it on Facebook. And then we say, read our blog for the rest of this, information on the best times of day to post on social. You go to that blog article, you read that, and then we'll say, hey, here's how to schedule out your post for the best times of day to post on social media. We'll give you the complete guide to that in exchange for your email. And you'll be encouraged to read more articles like this. So now you're more amped to provide that email address in exchange for that white paper or ebook or whatever you want to call it, because now we're starting to build this relationship. You're getting to know us. You're getting to start liking us because we're giving something of value to you. We're helping you solve a problem or get to know this topic a little bit more. And now you're beginning to trust us as an expert in this area. So that's where the exchange is taking place. Then you have permission to then start emailing them more value added, but then a soft sale at the end of the email. You can give the sneak peek. Maybe it's a blab like this, and you're saying, hey, sign up for the blab, and then at the end of the blab, maybe we're offering something for sale, but we've shown the value first. You have to give before you get. That's the big key. You have to give before you get in order to make emails turn into sales dollars for you. You have to be willing to give something of yourself first.
Absolutely. Love it. Yeah.
Number two, and do you have anything to add to the number one first before I jump on?
Nope. I think you said it well. I just want to comment on, is Angelica, did I say that right? Yeah. Yes. I mean, know, like, and trust, just repeating that. That's a good mantra here. Know, like, and trust. They got to know you and you just discoverability. And then through that like and trust, that's how you build it. You're just moving down that pathway. I'll just refer again to this great study by Constant Contact that they did 2015 or end of 14. And, the research data was showing that, so many people aren't ready to buy right then. But if you can get them onto that list, it's going to take generally 7 points of contact before they're ready to consider purchasing from you. So that's that whole process of, getting acclimated to you, building that they know, that they like, that there's a trust built over time, and email can help you do that.
Right. And HubSpot did a study. I know we're saying like some people don't read emails, but 50% of people say they do read the emails that come in, or at least they're scanning for it. But before I jump to some of the key tricks to do in the email to get them opened and read, I want to talk about some other things that are really important to know when you're getting started in what we call a drip campaign. So if you're giving one email or gaining an email in exchange for a value-added offer, you have to think through, what else are they going to get from you? What is this person that's just give me their email address? What's next? You have to really think out the buying cycle, because like you said, Mike, it's 7 touches. Like, are they going to be, interacting with you on social? Maybe, but if not, you need to make sure that they have the opportunity to get to know you a little bit more, in depth through email drip campaigns. So you have to separate who's exchanging their email for what information, and then how often you need to stay in contact with them and be consistent with it. You don't want too much time to lapse in between, because if your product's something that's, a longer buying cycle, then maybe once a month is okay to stay in contact. But if it's not, if it's something where just, buying cycle is, 30 days, you might want to email once a week, or, let them know that it's going to be an everyday email. You have to decide what's right for your audience, first and foremost, which means you have to know them, but then set something up for this drip campaign to gradually send out and be consistent, whatever you do. And so that's the second piece of this, is knowing your audience and setting up a consistent step-by-step through a sales process while you're collecting these emails. Angelica says, I read all my emails before my text. Really? That's awesome. I am bad about reading emails. There's certain things that get me to open emails. And when I read the study that was done by HubSpot that talked about the differences between the emails that get opened and don't, it makes a lot of sense because it's so me.
Okay. No, that's interesting though, because we need to hear from you and figure out what it is, what's going on in that brain that says yes or no, or that type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's basics. I don't know if you want to share any more on that, or if we want to get into some of those topics.
Yeah, we can get into them, and then we can set up some others on best practices when setting up the drip campaigns. Okay, so I'm going to literally read the study that was done by HubSpot, and they talked about things that are going wrong when you're sending out emails. So let's talk about that. The email, after I give my email address in exchange for a value-added offer, what else could go wrong and what could go right with that scenario. The first thing that they brought up in this study, and I'm actually going to share the link, and I'm just going to summarize this for you, but I'll share the link so you guys can go back and check this out. And this link is really long. This is one of the most recent. I should probably shorten this. Let me shorten it for you first. But the study goes to say that first, there's just the sites that are just asking for the email addresses. Like we said, there's no other offer or value added in it. It's just literally asking for your email address, and that people don't want to provide the email address. It's almost like giving your phone number anymore. It's like, no, because I know you're going to reach out to me, and I don't know if I want you to reach out to me yet. So one, you have to give something of value. The second thing is that there was poor follow-up. So you're just providing your email address, but you don't hear back from this company for, a week or a couple of days or, longer than that. Yeah. And so you need to have this instant information, sent back to this individual. And then depending on your buying cycle, let's say you set up a drip campaign, and the buying cycle, this person is more what we consider, so we'd split up leads in this way, and this is inbound marketing way of thinking. You separate all leads. So the top, if you imagine leads coming in, people coming into your website like a funnel, the top of your funnel is just leads, okay? These are just people that are coming in as leads. As they consume more and more of your content, or they provide more information that that you guys could be a good fit, then they're separated from marketing qualified lead to sales qualified lead, okay? So the funnel's getting smaller and smaller. You could do this from setting up tools on your website to know what kinds of content people are consuming that are on your website if they provided an email address. This is another benefit to collecting the email addresses, because you can then track what they're doing on your site and what information they're interested in.
Yep.
But when you find out someone's further down in the buying cycle, you want to email them back and personalize the emails to them. So it's not just, hi, email address, it's, hey, so-and-so, and you're going to address them on a first name basis, and it should come from a person's name that they would recognize from either the article that they read or the download that they're getting. You want to make it personalized.
Yeah,
it's not just a
stop right there,
name.
That's great, and it's both ways. That's personalizing it to the person, personalizing it who it's from. Right there, I think
exactly.
Either of those are mistakes that I see people making.
Yes, you need to personalize it, because people, do business with people. Like you feel like a connection with this person because you're seeing their face. You could put a face into the email signature. You need to make it personalized, and also addressing it to, like I said, a first name basis to the person. But then the subject line matters. You need to make sure that it's not just a generalized, generic subject line. It needs to say exactly what this person is getting emailed. So they use an example in the study, appropriate person, ? Okay? Because they said that the subject line should be the outcome that you're trying to get. Okay? The outcome that you're trying to get should be your subject line. So they titled it appropriate person because their email, and I'm just going to read it, says, I'm writing to follow up on my email. I didn't hear back from anyone on the team. So if it makes sense to talk, let me know how your calendar looks. If not, who is the appropriate person for me to talk to? Thanks for your help. And then their signature. The reason why this was further down the funnel, because their whole goal was to set up a meeting. Now they've already went through the sales process. So they already said, here's the software, right? Here's how you use this to solve your problem, blah, 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 blah. The last stage in the funnel, which we call the hand raise. So if you're getting all the value added info, you're learning how to solve the problem. And the ultimate answer is, in their case, buying the software or setting up a meeting to test out the software, right? They've already done all the other value added pieces. They've already given all the value first. The last piece in this funnel is to set up a call with them. So they made it personalized. They said exactly what they're trying to get out of this last sales piece, the actual sale email, and they address it in an appropriate way where it sounds like it's not a computer, so just sending out a generic email, it's a person emailing a person, right?
Yep.
Feel like more amped to answer it, not that you're just going to be another one that you ignore. So it's a clear, simple request for time to talk in their case. It could be a clear, simple, request for a time to schedule a demo or to sign up for whatever it is. But whatever that sales objective is, to make it clear, just make it clear. So they asked to keep it simple, though. Don't give too many calls to action in this. They used another case study where they're using an email where they're asking to set up a time, but then another email where it was like, let us know if you would like to talk. Here's my phone number. Here's my email address if you'd like to email me back. Here's the calendar where you can book me online. There was like 10 other ways to get in contact. They said, no, keep it simple. Keep your email, the last email, the sales email, very simple. And say exactly what you need to do.
Yes. Yeah. The one point, what's the next action? Not, here's a whole slew of options to make it easy. That's not making it easy.
Mm-mm. And so they shared the differences in the opens. They had 80% better click-through and conversions with just using this tactic in the last stage of the sales process. Now, this is not step one. This is the last stage, just to make it clear. The step one is giving the download or the value-added piece. The step two, maybe a couple more deeper dives into that. And then the last email. So there should at least be 3 steps in between getting from step one to this. Okay.
Yep.
Hopefully that's not confusing. But step one is the value-added offer that you're given in exchange for the email address. The step two could be, hey, if you like this, you'll love that. And that's giving something a little bit more. And then asking for permission, which is this email, because that's going to separate your lead from your marketing qualified lead to your sales qualified lead.
Yep. No, I like those things. I mean, it's creative subject lines have to be there. And I think that, just to dispel a myth here, and I think that so many businesses, when they first started out, when they're thinking about email marketing, they usually just think about, we just need to do a monthly newsletter. I mean, that's not, it's not what we're talking about here, because on a month, I mean, look how much happens online in a month, how many emails you've gotten. I mean, that's just not happening anymore. But what we're talking about is something that flows in from a soft call to action, and you're on a list, and so maybe there's going to be 5 emails over 8 days or something like that, where you're going to connect with them. You're not bombarding them, but it's going to be something in that. Okay, so you got an optimal range. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, you actually just hit it. You just hit it the same time I hit the enter. So we're like, what did I do, Mick? It's like we've been working together for a while or something. No, it's like they said the optimal date range of time is between 3 and 8 days. So you don't want a big, long time period to pass. You want to give them the opportunity to move through that sales funnel quickly without bombarding them. Bam, 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 bam. Now, you should always have an option for those that are already sold. Maybe you already did their touches or been referred. That word of mouth referral has pushed them to the sale already, where they have a quick access on your website to get a quote or get to that end game ahead of time. But this is turning your website into a sales funnel for you. It's turning it into a salesperson for you. So this is where your email is going to help do that for you. So you do need to have some kind of tool that is going to monitor what someone's doing once they give you their email address. You have to have some way of intelligently knowing if somebody's giving you their email address, what else are they doing after that? And not all email systems can do that. It's either a manual process, or you're going to have a more sophisticated system that will, track and do this for you and work almost as a sales rep on your behalf.
Yep, absolutely. So those have to be, put in place, and you can do that personalization even with those. But I mean, subject lines are so critical there. And I think on those, again, always think, how can we build a resource? And I think that this is just another plug for content marketing, because if you've done that well, you've got a prolifera of great content on your website. And so your email marketing can refer back to some of that great content that's helpful, that's valuable, that educates them in a number of areas.
Exactly. And I will mention just a couple of the tools just in case someone's not using one or is interested. There's several of them out there that can do this, that can help you set up a smart drip campaign in a sense that's going to help move somebody from one funnel to another. Now, it does take a little legwork getting it set up, but once you do, it honestly is like a sales rep for your business. So there is Infusionsoft, there is HubSpot, there is Marketo, there is SharpSpring, and any others I'm forgetting of the top dogs. I'm sure there's more out there, but those are some of the most well-known, I would say, that are a CRM kind of inbound campaign manager all in one. So I'm not trying to promote one or over the other, but those are all the tools, and you have to find out which one is right for your business. There are different price ranges, but if you can afford it, it is well worth it to segment your audience for you and help get these emails set up right. Because it also does allow you, which is the third thing in this, is to split test. You have to test this out. If you're trying email marketing and you're not succeeding, something's going wrong, right? You have to go back and dissect and test out a few different things. It could be your subject line. It could be, your copy in there. And maybe it's too confusing. You need to keep it simple and keep it very bulleted. And sometimes it's something just as simple as your call to action button is the wrong color. They've done studies that's like one's red and one's green. You have to test things out and see what's working for you. Get some feedback from others. Ask them first before you send it out. What did you think of this? What did this make you want to do? Use some people that you trust to be testers for you in this case. Send it to a small segment before you send it to everyone. Test it out. Maybe you have a list of 1,000 emails, and you're just going to start with the first 10 and see what they do, just to test it out. Maybe send one email to 10, another email to another 10, and test it out so you don't waste the whole push in one swoop, but test it out first.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Absolutely. I think you're right on with those things.
All on here. Thank you, Angelica. You are hired as our note taker. You're awesome. Thank you.
And how about this one? How about this one? The simple one that often is forgotten, and that is the factor of redundancy. So you're going to have one concept you're trying to get across, one action, one resource you're trying to get them to take. It's good to repeat that. So you want to introduce it. Mm-hmm. Here's where you can go. Then you're going to carry on. You're going to summarize. Hey, by the way, here was this again.
That's super smart, because you may feel like you're saying it all the time, but it takes, like you said, 7 touches on average before someone's going to buy from you. And that person may have only seen it once, and then they're meant to get back to it. But it was that good reminder when you put it back in there that, yeah, I was going to do that. I need to do that now before I forget again.
Yep.
So that's smart to put that on there. But split testing is huge. Redundancy is huge. Just putting it back out there and reminding people, especially, if you're sharing some links on social media, we know that it's not to sell. You sell on social, but you do try to drive traffic back to your website. So drive traffic back to the pages on your website, which have a call to action on it, to where you can start growing that list. And that's going to help you build that up and then nurture your list. So if you're just getting started with it, you do maybe have to, start building up your content first, but it's well worth it then, because you can repeat it and almost make a lot of these things evergreen. I'm going to pull up one other link here.
While you're doing that, I got one more point I'll slide in here, okay?
Sure.
And that is, today's day and age, it's a important factor to have your emails be mobile friendly. Okay, it's just like your website.
Yes. Thank you. Yes,
your emails need to be formatted for the mobile devices. I mean, I can't tell you how you want to get me to skip it. I mean, just make me work at your email a little bit. Make me try to scroll on my mobile device, whatever, and I'm out of here. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm post this back in here. I copied everything from this stat, but they also say that 65% of people prefer emails that have more images in it, so it's easier to read, and that's probably because they're on their mobile too. And then 35% prefer mostly text. So you know your audience, but a lot of your audience prefers it to be emails that contain mostly images in it. I've found recently, and I've talked about this before, is that people prefer that even your emails that have some video in it. Like we've been using and testing out video, and we've had a greater number of opens on our emails that have the videos in it, and the plays all the way through. So know your audience, though, and what's right for them, and test it out. But play around with it. Don't be afraid to add some images in there, and break it up and make sure that it doesn't look too heavy on the eyes. It's easy on your eyes, and it's broken up. Play around with bullet points. Play around with how it's segmented to make it very easy to read and mobile friendly.
Yep.
Like Mike said. So the days of the week to post an email or to send an email is said that Tuesdays and Thursdays are the most traffic days to send out email, and early in the morning. Actually, this study said that the most opens that they received was actually 5 a.m. in the morning, which is crazy to me. But even though that's the day that most people are sending out emails, the emails that have the most opens are on Friday, believe it or not.
Okay.
Friday emails. I'm going to post a link to this study on here because I grabbed a couple different studies, because different people say different things. But we actually have started sending our emails out on Friday, depending on the drip. If somebody sets up, and signs in, of course, they're going to get that email right away, right after they put in their email address. But then the drip campaign, play around with those days and see which one works the best for you. But yeah, they said Friday works the best for them in this study. And they sent it out to a couple thousand people in one study, and 100,000 in the next study. The other thing that matters in email is the words that you use. So they used a list of different keywords that had the most opens in it. So the words the most clicked subject line words. So some of these words that they used, and I'm going to pull this up here, were giveaway, update, post, jobs. There's some different buzzwords in here that they used that had more opens on those subject lines. But so be careful with getting too crafty with it. Like we said, if you're closer down to the end of your sales funnel, make sure though it's still specific to what you're trying to accomplish, to make it personalized and not too salesy, if you will. Yeah, Friday. I was surprised too. And it's just changed so much. It used to be like Wednesdays, and that's probably why a lot of people are sending it out on Wednesdays, but it changes,
Yeah, that's why you got to keep up with it. That's why you need to take a look at these things. We're talking about tips to help you sell better through email. I mean, it's still a viable platform for that, but it is a matter of taking a look at what are best practices today. that's changed. That, the mobile thing didn't even exist a couple years ago. They had to worry about that. Because of the volume of email people get, I think that the subject line, narrowing it down to that one thing that's helpful, the redundancy of the, where you want them to click through to, the same URL repeated, it can be, just definitely important.
Here's another thing that I discovered too with using HubSpot, because it is a tracking software when we're sending out emails, is pay attention to the bounce backs too. If you start seeing a lot of bounce backs from different servers, you may need to play around, even though it says, images, but play around with certain senders to send the text emails, because some servers reject it if it's just that image because it thinks that it may be spam, especially if there's some software in your emails that is tracking what the person's doing. Pay close attention to what the insights of your email reports are saying back to you, because you may be losing out where this person's not even getting your email. And it's hard bouncing, and you would have had no idea unless you read that. So make sure to pay close attention to the servers that are bouncing it back and why. Because some of them, if it says hard bounce, that means it never even went through that server, or that person's email address isn't in existence anymore. And then the unsubscribes, of course, are people that are choosing to opt out of your email. So make sure to pay attention to what that's saying.
Yep.
So Mike, have you, I know you guys do a lot with email, and you've had some interesting, I guess, the new tool, Loftio, that you use. Have you noticed, like, with the call to action button with the, so maybe tell about your tool and if you've found that that's worked for increased subscriptions or not?
Yeah, no, I think it, so basically in short order, Loftio is a little tool that you can add to your website to help you with that call to action. And you can have it set up in multiple ways. But one of the best ones that I like is for it to come up after a number of seconds or upon exit intent. And I can do it has a little shimmy shake with it. Okay. So we're trying to capture attention here. And again, people are making a judgment on a website in about 5 seconds, 6 seconds kind of thing. So you want to, have something either on exit intent is going to be as they're trying to move their mouse, looks like they're getting ready to leave. You can have it, or else after that 5 seconds exactly, it can pop up, and you can have it do that and catch their attention. And that's where you need to have, that call to action, lead capture opportunity for them that makes sense, and it has to be inviting. And so, yeah, we're seeing a lot of sites that are increasing their email list through this type of service. Now, again, it still comes back to testing though, because the tool gives you the opportunity, but you still need to have a good headline message there, and you need to have something that is viable, what that offer is. And so you need to you can test those pieces. But Loftio is there, and we try to make it easy so it can sync, out of the gate. We're doing that with MailChimp, with Infusionsoft, with GoToWebinar, Aweber, some of those types of, email services there. But yeah, today's day and age on websites, it can be just important to have something to really get in front, to make a little bit of a splash, and that's kind of what Loftio is designed to do.
Yeah, and I've seen it on some other sites. It seems like they're getting some good results from it, so that's really cool.
Yep.
I used to blog on WordPress.com. I realized that I had to open self-host in order to really sort. Yeah,
because you need a self-hosted website, like a self-hosted WordPress or something like that, so that you can control and you can add the pieces on. You can manage. You're not just limited. That's one of the, again, you get what you pay for. WordPress.com, you get free there. A lot of those other platforms that are out there, that there's just limits, that they just control what you can do. But it's important that you control your asset and can have that function the way you need it to. And we're talking about that they're just integrally woven together here. We're talking about the art of using emails to grow sales today. But you've heard us talk. I mean, your website is critical in that, and your call to actions on your website, how those pieces are, that's just vital to what you can do.
Exactly. And think of other creative ways too of growing your email list. I know we've put in some tools in the middle, like of a video. I know on YouTube you can add some paid tools in order to grow leads at the end of it. Make sure the video is worth it. Like maybe you have 10 tips to growing your email and you share 5 of them for free and just ask for the email address in the middle to get to the other 5 or something. Use creative ways depending on what your audience wants to consume your content. Maybe it's video and you ask for it there. We've also used it on Facebook with signing up for contests in exchange for email addresses. We've used it my brain's going dead on the one that plugs into LinkedIn, SlideShare in the middle of slides. It's not saying that they have to give you their email address in the middle of that, but you're just asking for it. And maybe you're giving the opportunity to download it or some good information. I mean, the key is, like we said, give before you get. So make sure you're giving of yourself and of value in order to get it back in exchange for that email address. The other thing that we didn't mention on here, but just good to share, even though you don't want to put social share links on landing pages, that the actual giveaway itself, on the email that you are sending out with that value added piece, make sure you put a social share on that, because then people do share that. And I'm going to share the link where I'm grabbing all these stats from today on, but the link where you're giving your download away, if you put a social share link onto that email and people share it out and they're like, look what I just grabbed. I just grabbed 12 email templates that convert. I'm going to share that on Twitter, right? If somebody clicks on that link, then they're going to be taken back to the landing page in order to get it themselves. So it's kind of a win-win for you. One, you are increasing your subscriber and email base, but 2, these other individuals that are getting it are turning into advocates for your business, sharing it because they're excited. They look like the hero that found this information. They're sharing it out, and then you're growing even more. So get really creative with maximizing the ways to grow your email list as well.
Absolutely. That's critical. It's a vital, I mean, it's just, simple math in that regard. If you have a list of 200 and you're trying to, work through sales in that, what if you have a list of 400? What if you have a list of 800? What if you have a list of 1,000? You're just, by targeting the right people, with the right type of lead capture, growing that list, just more of the right type of people to, reach out to continue that process of know, like, trust, relationship building.
Exactly. So I want to open it up for questions now as we kind of recap to see if anyone has questions on some of the things that we covered today and some of the tips that you can use for increasing your email into sales, turning your emails into sales, I should say. If you have questions, feel free to post them in here and we will answer them. And then also
I'll drop in a blog post there that I got a couple things that I mentioned here, and that's
perfect.
Just a resource. I can put it in the show notes as well over here as a link.
Capturing emails. I recently purchased GetResponse and I didn't have a lead capture and was wondering why it wasn't. Yeah. Very good. So yeah, the lead capture is key, and you create something and you'll be surprised. And you can test it out to make sure that, whatever you're giving away is of value and, make it really easy for people to get.
Yeah, Jessica, okay, I got a question on the SlideShare call to action. So there's just wanting a little bit more input there, all the way from New Mexico on what worked for you, and did you repeat the call to action at the end? Middle?
Yes. Yep. I did it at the middle and then repeated at the end. So the middle, I let them skip. And then at the end, I just asked for it before they would be able to download it. Yep. And that's worked great for me. Now, some of the ones that have been like, a really solid presentation, I've asked for it at the beginning. Some of them, just depends, but all of them ask for it because they're all good information. So Yeah. If you're not used, SlideShare is a great way of getting traffic to your LinkedIn, but also back to your website.
Yep. Well, and you can still post those to Pinterest, right?
Exactly. Yep. It's
So,
an
I mean,
easy way to share
think about this, folks. You know, we're trying to help you build your email list. Again, that's just one of the key pieces of using, your email. Obviously, there's the pathways within the email itself, but you got to continue to grow that list. Think of your email marketing as a funnel in itself, and you got to take a look at those pieces and allow that to work for you. So that's just critical to identify, to think through, to implement for your marketing. Oh, looks like I got a new opt-in down there.
Woohoo!
Angelica's checking this out. All right, very good. That's what it's about. We got to practice what we preach, right? Is that what it is?
That's right. That's right. I have a link too that I shared, and just so another thing to just be wary of. We didn't talk about it, but making sure that the emails that you're signing up are really truly emails that the people that want things, from you. Don't just add people into your drip campaigns because you got their business card at a meeting, without their permission. Just make sure that you're opting in, or that people are choosing to opt into your emails. That's going to make a huge difference so you don't get flagged. I shared a link here to a blog that actually something that Mike and I covered before on Blab that said why it's not okay to buy email lists. So make sure you're not buying email lists. I know no one in here would do that, but there are a lot of things where people say, hey, I can sell you, targeted prospects in your demographic for this amount of money. Run away from those kinds of people. Okay. What steps can I best take to include affiliate banners on my website and emails without being salesy? I did this, and I just include them in blog articles, and then I also include it as a resource page. So you actually just make it as a resource page, and you say, here's what I'd recommend for such and such. Here's what I recommend for that. And it worked for me. I didn't go the banner approach. I went the link approach and just use the links naturally throughout, blog articles and then on a resource page on the website, because I'm promoting who I think is the right thing. And that's why I'm signed up as an affiliate. And I'm just literally putting as a resource of recommendations right there. And then people can click on it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's, again, don't treat it differently than how you treat your other content. You want to be a resource. And so that can fit under the category of resource. So you shouldn't change strategy and suddenly be like, hey, you need to click on this one, kind of thing. So don't, don't switch strategies. And I think that, again, you have to take a look at a banner can work in different parts of your site, and depends on, again, it all comes back to strategy, how you want to monetize on your site, and what's your whole marketing mix there, those types of things. So there's sites that have too many banners, and that tells me I'm less seeing them as a resource and more just a click system kind of thing there. Yep. So I think that you
that's what you
narrow it down and be specific about it.
Great sites.
Great sites. Yeah.
I like what you said there, Mike. Echo into myself. I like what you said there. I do the same thing. If I go to a blog and I see there's a lot of banners or ads there, I look at it like they're selling their tips. So then if they recommend someone, I take it as that is a hired opinion, But if you literally go right out of the gate and you don't even need to sell the real estate on your site, just use it as a link, you literally are telling people, this is what I recommend. I am literally recommending these to you and putting it as a link. I think it comes off more less salesy, I guess, is what you're looking for. Banners used to be more accepted. I think now it's still, I guess for news sites, you would expect it, but depending on your business, there's not very many that I would recommend a banner ad for. I would say go with a link.
Yeah, there can be some spots, so like on a blog sidebar that there's some things can fit in naturally, that's a piece, and that's still, that's technically can be a banner, a call out, some type of thing, but it seems to flow, and you don't want to be, overdoing them. That's just important that you want to draw people in naturally.
Yeah. If it's working for you though, I mean, keep on keeping on with it. But if it's not,
know your audience, right?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Jessica, I think
good question.
We probably got to wind down here. If there's any other questions, we'll keep going.
Wow.
But as well, we should make sure we introduce the topic for next week on
Sure.
Facebook pages versus groups. I think that's a topic that business owners, maybe I can drop the link in, or if you've got it handy, we can do that one.
I'm trying to. It's not cooperating.
Okay, let me try and see if I got this here. But what's important here is, as we look ahead, we're trying to give you resources, tools, tips, things that can make a difference in your marketing. I know that some people have boom, just like that, where we are again within a second of each other. Pages versus groups. We're going to dive into that. What's the value of a page? How's a group different from that? When do you want to have a group as well? Does a group ever replace a page? All those kind of things I want to dive into for your business, your small, medium-sized business marketing.
Exactly. And we would love to stay connected with you, hear about what's working for you. If you guys take advantage of some email ideas and read these articles, stay connected with us. You can find me on twitter.com/Jessica Phillips. Same thing on LinkedIn. And would love to stay connected with you guys into next week. Mike, you want to share the link to your Twitter profile as well?
All right, I will do that. Thank you, Angelica, for the active participation, for Local Creative, and all these things. It's been a good time hanging out here today. Hopefully it's of value to you guys as well.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I really appreciate you taking time out, especially with us having a short week this week. Appreciate you as always, and look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, Tuesday, 4 p.m. next week. Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Good seeing everyone. Bye-bye.